Incident detail from the officer's perspective. Please note that some information that was contained in previous segments may not be reported here. Occurred from and occurred to should be changed by an officer if it is determined that the actual offense occurred at a time that differs from when it was reported. So, for example, a user could respond to a burglary that was called in the evening, however, occurred between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. In that instance, the officer would want to change the occurred from and the occurred to reflect when the offense actually occurred. Narrative type describes the narrative that's going to be entered on the right. Use of this dropdown should conform to your agency's policies and procedures. Attachments is the area where documents and files can be uploaded to your incident. If your state's attorney's office is a Valcor agency, then you should confer with your state's attorney to see what type of attachments they would like to see in an incident. The checkboxes below should be used in conformance with your agency's policies and procedures. The offense area. It's important to note that just because an officer does not arrest someone for an offense, it does not mean that the offense should not be entered. So, for example, if you have a mutual affray with obvious injuries, but neither party wants to file a complaint, you still have an assault to report. Category is used to narrow down your selection. Subcategory further narrows down the selection so that violations may be chosen. Based on the category and subcategory, violations are then populated. NIBR's VIO type is an override that allows agencies to arrest for a Vermont offense, but report the applicable FBI UCR offense. More information on this field will be contained in another segment. Counts are the number of counts attributed to your offense suspect. Number of premise is only used to indicate the number of hotel rooms, dorm rooms, storage facilities, or other groupings involved in certain offenses. Committed or attempted is set to indicate whether your offense was committed or completed or attempted. IBR scene location type is a NIBR's field used to indicate an area where the incident took place. IBR criminal activity type is a field that's used for certain NIBR's offenses. IBR gang affiliation is a drop-down type that is also used for certain offenses. IBR ag assault homicide circumstances is a NIBR's field and should only be completed if the offense you are reporting is a 0-9 homicide or a 13A aggravated assault. IBR weapon type is a NIBR's drop-down field. Completion of this field pertains to specific offenses. NIBR's override is another way to override simple assault or aggravated assault offenses. Additionally, the NIBR's auditor may mark an incident as don't send if it does not qualify for FBI reports. Point of entry is a drop-down, the use of which is determined by your agency. Force or no force is a NIBR's field used to report burglaries. Point of exit is a drop-down dictated by agency policy. Campus code again is a drop-down dictated by agency policy. Justifiable homicide is a NIBR's field used to indicate the reason for a homicide, should it have been determined to be justified. Significant event is an agency programmed field. Offense suspect is populated by the name detail frame. Offense victim is populated by the name detail frame. IBR victim-offender relationship is used to indicate the relationship between the victim and the offender. Bias motivation is used to indicate if bias was involved in the incident. If it is believed that bias is involved in an incident, but the bias is unknown, please indicate by using unknown or 99. If there is no outward evidence of bias being involved in your incident, then please use none. Victim was LEO is a field used to report LEOCA data for your agency. This field should only be completed if you have an incident reporting an assault on a law enforcement officer. Victim was LEO assignment is a drop-down with NIBR's fields used to indicate the assignment of the responding officer. Other ORI is a drop-down field to indicate if the offense occurred within someone else's ORI. LEOCA narrative is a brief free-form field. If you need to delete an offense, you may select the delete button. If you need to add additional offenses, select the Add Offense button. It should be noted if you have more than one offender committing the same offense, you want to add another offense suspect line to the one offense. If you have one offender that has two separate violations, you would select the Add Offense button. If you have multiple offenders that have multiple different violations, you would also use the Add Offense button to add the additional offense suspects. If you have any questions about the incident detail frame, please contact your Valcor program manager.